G-Man Boxing. Do you know what I mean? Every single live he donates. I see him on other lives donating. He's got the bag on it.
Alright, so Anthony Joshua recently gave an interview with Kugan Cassius on IFL TV. Now, it was an interesting listen to. Like, if you go and listen to the first 5-6 minutes, I had to listen to it a couple of times because it kind of left me scratching my head. Because I was like, what is he alluding to? Because there was a few kind of... It's basically Kugan was asking about the situation with Usyk and potentially him stepping aside to allow Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk to have their fight for undisputed. Now, initially, AJ was talking about he wanted respect, and he said his team know not to come at him with step aside. So if they've been offered the step aside money, his team know, don't come at me with that BS. And he used the full abbreviation of what I was just saying there. So I was thinking at the start, I'm like, oh, he's not stepping aside. He started talking about, respect and, being a throwback fighter. He'll fight everyone and anyone. He wants to be a 3-time heavyweight champion. He wants to walk down and, with respect and stuff like that. So I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, okay, so he's not stepping aside. Then, no sooner did he mention that he started talking about business. And he brought the step aside into it. Now this, bear in mind, he was saying a few minutes earlier that team no, step aside, don't come at him with it. I don't want to know. But then he started talking about the step aside money and started talking about business and saying if the business is right, we'll consider it. And Kugan Cassius was like, so you are considering it? And at that point, AJ kind of went back on to talk about respect. And he said then from a business point of view, he was mentioning Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield and some NFL footballers that from a business point of view, they've made poor decisions, which he's right there. And they've ended up with less than they should have, which again, he's spot on there. So Kugan said, basically to Anthony Joshua, I'm not putting words in your mouth. And AJ was like, don't. But he goes, from what I can gather, you're kind of weighing up all options, because originally at the start of the interview, he shut down step aside and then immediately kind of opened the door to that. I think AJ it was definitely bizarre to listen to, and I was kind of like, is he gonna? Is he not? From what I can gather, the offer has to be right. Of course, I mean, you're not gonna go to AJ with like, here's £1 million, will you step aside? He'll just tell you F off. But from what I can gather, if the offer is substantial enough, and don't know, maybe he feels that, fine, I'll make a lot of money with this, then I'll take it. He kind of left the door open for saying, if the right offer comes along and it is for step aside, basically that, he'll look at it from a business point of view and he'd be open to it. That's kind of what I can gather from what I was able to say. It was a very bizarre interview. He was out in Dubai watching the MTK show, or was that an MTK show? I'm not sure, but it might have been Pro Bellum. But it was with O'Hara Davis, Badu Jack, Rocky Field and stuff. And it was a bizarre listen. Like, if you've not seen it, it's on IFL, it's a recent enough interview. I'd recommend you go listen to it, because I listened to it once and I was like, I have to listen to this again, because I'm not... I think the first comment that I saw on the comment section was saying that they should have went to Anthony Joshua to play Riddler in the new Batman movie, because he did a great job of Riddler in there. And I was like, yeah, that's spot on. Because I was listening and I was like, this is he's shutting it down instantly at the start. And then he's doing a 180 and talking business and saying, he'd be opened almost to step aside if it's the right offer from a business point of view. Now, me personally, what I think Anthony Joshua should do, now obviously I'm not part of his team, this is just me from the outside looking in as a YouTuber who makes videos, but personally, if I was AJ, if the right step aside offer came in, I think that could be a blessing in disguise. You'll make some money, you can have that shot, I'm sure there'll be 2-fight deal with AJ with Usyk and Fury. But they could put it in writing that you're guaranteed, win, lose or draw, whatever you do in your career, you're guaranteed to fight whoever comes through. If they don't decide to have a second fight, you're guaranteed to fight the winner. At that same time, it gives AJ the chance to rebuild his confidence, because I don't think his confidence has ever fully recovered from the first Ruiz loss. Alright? From the first Ruiz fight, I should say. And right now, it seems like I don't want to say he's all over the place. That's the wrong thing to say, but it just seems like he's just. I don't know. How would you describe it? It just kind of seems like his head's not quite there. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that maybe his pride is telling him, don't ignore the money. Take the Usyk rematch. Go in and fight him again. And he was talking about really putting it on Usyk. But maybe the other part of his head is saying, hang on a sec, look. With Ruiz, we knew what it was. We knew what we needed to do wrong. With Usyk, and I really do think this is the case. What can we do different? Yeah, we could try and put it on. That's a risk. If that backfires, that's going to backfire spectacularly. At least with Ruiz, we kind of knew how to beat him. With Usyk, if we put it on him, if that doesn't work early, we are screwed. Right? Because we can't outbox him. We've tried that. If we bring it to him, there's a high chance I can get clipped. And maybe AJ is just thinking, maybe I need more time. Maybe I need to get these wins back together. Maybe pick up 2 or 3 wins, over kind of, decent-ish level guys. Maybe have a rematch with someone like Parker or someone like that just to get the confidence back up or something like that. Maybe that's kind of what's going on there. Now, me personally, that's what I would advise AJ to do. If I was in his team, I'd say, look, take the step aside and go and build yourself back up, because as the saying goes, pride cometh before a fall. Do you ever hear that saying? And I wonder if that's going to be the case with Anthony Joshua if he goes in and fights Alexander Usyk in an immediate rematch. I've said it once, I'll say it again. With Ruiz, it was different. I did think AJ shouldn't have took the rematch for the reasons I just explained there, that he needs to build himself back up. He has been operating at this level for so long. He went from winning the British title straight to world level. There was no kind of in between. They were talking about European level prior to Charles Martin, but that never happened. And I just think for AJ's development, I'm not saying drop down to European level. What I'm saying is you don't need to be in these, massive, tough fights against, your mandatories who are all, 9 out of 10 they're going to be hard fights. Drop down a bit, learn a few things, get a little bit more confidence under your belt, and then go in and fight the winner of AJ or Usyk Fury. Then do it. Maybe a year, 18 months, it's fine. AJ's still quite young, so for a heavyweight anyway. So that's what I think he should have done against Ruiz. Now, I picked him to beat Ruiz in the rematch because I knew if AJ boxes, he should win. Because it's not a puzzle how to beat Ruiz. Usyk is a different kettle of fish altogether. If you box with him, he's comfy there, he gives you angles. If you come at him, he's very accurate. He hits hard enough to buzz AJ. And AJ, they've been talking about him putting weight on. Saying, people were saying, he's too light or too full, he needs to be too. Again, AJ's stamina has never been the best. If he really goes and tries to put it on Usyk, Jerick Chisora style, that's not going to end well if he doesn't get rid of him in a couple of rounds, because he's going to be open for counters, and if he doesn't get rid of him and he survives, the lactic acid in the muscle is going to build up. He's going to gas badly. So, for me, this is interesting, what's going on. I encourage anyone to go and watch the interview and see if you can make heads or tails of it. For me, it was just like, what is he actually saying? Is he not interested in step aside? Because he really, if you go and watch it, he really did shut it down instantly when Coogan mentioned it. AJ was like, my team might have gotten off, but they know. Don't come at me with that BS. And it's like, all right, so he's not, no rematch, or he wants the rematch. Okay, fine, fair enough. And then instantly it just flipped. And it was, even Coogan was like, so you are considering it? And AJ kind of went and started talking about respect and stuff like that. It was weird. So I can't really I'm trying to make heads or tails of it. Personally, I feel AJ should have a couple of interim fights, confidence builders. And then, once I think we see glimpses of the pre-Ruiz AJ, then I think we should be good to go. I'm not saying I necessarily pick him against Usyk or Fury, if he gets confidence back to where it should be. But I definitely think it gives him a better shot of winning. 100%. Let me know your thoughts. And as well, if he did take step aside and he did start, maybe have 2 interim fights against, maybe say, let's just chuck names out there. Let's say Joseph Parker in a rematch. And you want to chuck me out a name, Robert Helenius. He's got a bit of form. Let's just say he did that, right? Just play devil's advocate and say he did that. But say he changed trainer. Got a Clinton Mitchell, got a Virgil Hunter, Ronnie Shields, someone like that. It gives him a chance to actually get familiar with the trainer, and it gives him a chance to kind of, have the camps with the trainer, get accustomed to their style and their way of teaching, and then go into, your fight for your title. Whereas if you got, now Tyson Fury did it very successfully with Sugar Hill, I'll admit that, but for the most part, I don't like seeing fighters change trainer going into a big fight with, you know, not much time. Tyson Fury was able to do it very well, and fair play to him. I didn't think he would, but for the most part, when a fighter goes to a brand new trainer, they're trying to learn a new style, they're trying to learn new surroundings, and it can take time. You know, it can, no doubt. But you're going to do that in a massive fight. You know, you're in new surrounds, with a new trainer, new way of doing things, going into a massive fight. I just don't think that's a good idea, personally. But who knows? We haven't really heard anything about the training situation with AJ. He's out there with Dubai at the minute. We'll wait and see. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know yours in the comment section. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you could, subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button if you could. Hit the all notification bell. It really does help your boy out. For now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you. Peace.